Today's blogging video is all about how I plan and organize my blogging content calendar. I am so specific about my organization and how I plan out things, and I'm really excited to dive into it with you. I love to hear how people are organizing their lives, and I could listen to it all day long. So, very excited about this video. Let's get into it. A quick tidbit about myself. So my name is Sophia. I have the blog by Sophia Lee. I started it when I was 19 years old, going into my sophomore year of college. I would do it out of my dorm room. And from then, which was 5 years ago, I now have a 7-figure blog. We make over $100,000 a month on the blog, which is literally insane. And there's so many things that I wish I would have known when I started my blog that I now help you learn those things so you don't have to learn them the hard way like I did. Okay, now that that little intro's done, let's get into how I organize and plan out my blogging schedule. I have my computer which has all my notes on it. Okay, so like I said, I'm very specific with this, and there's certain things that I do that just work for my brain. So you're going to have to kind of take some of the things that I tell you and adjust it for how your own mind works. For me personally, I like to write things down with a pen and a paper. But at the same time, because I have a team now, we also have to utilize technology so that multiple people can kind of know what is happening. So for my actual content creation, and I go in depth about this in my course, Perfecting Blogging, so I don't want to go too detailed where I'm like disrespectful to people that have bought it, but I also obviously want this to be helpful. So what I do is I will print out a calendar that I designed for myself, and it's super basic. You could literally download one from online, and I will print it out for the next like 6 months. And usually I content plan every 6 months ish and brain dump everything, and I just come up with so many different blog post ideas, keywords, etc. I take these calendars, and on the calendar I usually go and I put like a focus for that month. So for example, we're going into the holidays right now. My focus for September content was all holidays basically. So when I was content planning in September for the holidays, I would write holidays at the top, and then I would go and I would just brain dump in a list all different types of blog posts, and then I would go and put them in my calendar based on how many posts I could manage at that certain time. Then once I had that in place, I would then go and move it into Google Calendar. I love Google Calendar. My entire life is completely scheduled out in Google Calendar, and the handwritten ones and like my actual tangible planner, which I'll walk you through my planner, but my actual tangible planner is more for me and my brain to decompress my schedule, where my Google Calendar is my actual schedule that the entire team can see. Ben and I share a calendar. And it just makes it really helpful. So I literally have a specific calendar in Google Calendars called Content Calendar, and that is where I go take that paper planner or that paper calendar and put it in there, so that way when things don't go as planned, because they won't go as planned, I can easily just drag and drop the different posts on where they are supposed to go. Second part of this video. So I have things called PGLs and UPGLs. It's a little terminology or terms that I created for myself. And when I content plan, I think of both of these almost equally. So PGLs is post goes live, and UPGLs is updated post goes live. We are constantly updating old posts on our website, especially if they got traffic. So let's say that last year I had a post go super viral. I am consistently going into that post and updating it so that no one would ever know that that was posted last year, and they would think that it is posted this year. That is what the UPGLs are. So I'm kind of working hand in hand with the brand new post, which is the PGLs, and then the updated post which is the UPGLs. They both need time, and so I make sure that both of those are in the content calendar, and it's not just brand new posts. I have created multiple different printables for myself. I started doing it when I was in college, and they would just help me really get organized. Now I have a daily planner, which has all of the printables in it that you can buy. But if you don't want to buy them, if you're on a budget, you could really just recreate all of these pages. So all of these pages help me stay extremely organized, and I'm going to kind of walk you through my brain process for each of them and how I use them to help me on my blog and how they can help you on yours. They will make your life so much better. And like I said, I just write down everything and it helps it like decompress in my mind. And so it could be super helpful for you as well. Sarah's holding this camera. We're gonna try to make this as non-janky as possible. Also, my planner is filled to the brim and like so messy and filled with stuff that I don't want you guys to see. Honestly, so people can't copy me. So here's like a new planner that I have, which I kind of just have filled out so you can get an idea of the different things that I do. All right, Sarah. Okay, this first page is filled with my blogging tasks. Like I said, I write down everything, and for me to be able to look back at these tasks every single week, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, etc., and make sure that I'm doing everything is so helpful. I usually fill this out at the beginning of the year, and it really just helps keep me on track. Okay, then we move on to the yearly content plan. This is more where I go, like I was saying earlier, and take those calendars, and at the top of the calendar, I'll write out what that specific focus is. These are like those main ones. So for example, in January, I would do a series of posts on ways to get into a routine. Also post on New Year's resolutions. People are really interested in quick and healthy dinners in January, so I focus on that, and then favorite podcasts. And so that kind of just gives me something to go off of for each month. I also just like to write my income goal each month from a planning perspective. If you have not created a reader profile, if you have not created an avatar, you need to. We use our avatar religiously when coming up with posts, and basically an avatar is someone that you create, and we get uber specific with who we create. That is exactly who you are writing to. So when we write our posts, we write it to this specific person. So for example, our avatar, she has a name. Her name is Allison, and we gave her an age. She's 24 years old. She's female. She's a nurse. She went to college. She makes about $100,000 a year, and she is in a long-term relationship, about to get engaged. That is our person. Obviously, you are going to have a different person, and we adjust our avatar every single year based on what our metrics are looking like and who we are writing to. It clearly doesn't change that much, but we still change it. Having someone to write to instead of just having like an open person makes your life so much easier. And so we like really love our avatar. We have a branding guide. This is another thing I do at the beginning of the year, which like you'll have your different fonts, you'll have your different logos, your favicon, which is, I don't even know if that's how you say it, favicon, whatever, which is at like the top of a browser. You'll see a circle, and then it'll be like BSL situation, color palettes. This is more just for me to visualize and get things down on a piece of paper at the beginning of the year. We have usernames and passwords. Holiday content planning. Bloggers make so much money and content during the holiday season that we really spend a lot of time thinking about all of the different posts and making sure that we are extremely scheduled for that time of the year. And then we just have normal content planning. And these are like, when we do it, these are the things we focus on. We have the keyword, we have the search number, the date that's most popular, the month to post, if it's scheduled, and then if it's published. If you guys saw my actual planner of this, you would die, because it is just, I have scribbles like basically all over. It's like a mind dump. Okay, these are the things that I then do on a monthly basis. So here's an example of the calendar that I created for myself. Like I said, you could download this online from, if you just Google like blank calendar. But these are how I've like fine-tuned it for me. So content topics for the month, that's where I go and write the different content focuses that I am paying extra attention to that month. And then none of these are filled in, so I'll go write the dates, and that's where I would go write the post. So like, for example, I would do like PGL, I'll do 15 insanely. easy sheet pan meals. And then I'll have this entire thing filled out with the different ones. So PGL's post goes live, and then like let's say on Friday I have UPGL, which is an old post. So I'm trying to think of an old post. What's an old post of mine? Who knows? It's a fake old post. So that's where I write all of those down. Okay, then we have our monthly stats page where we go and write in the stats. We have our monthly goals. I am such a big goal setter that to have these at the beginning of the month and plan it really, really helps me. And then I have a monthly budget page. I'm a huge budgeter, and so I like to write everything down and plan it out. We have a weekly overview, which goes over the blog post for that week. I do not post a blog post 7 days a week. That is like literally not possible for me. So sometimes I do, depending on like where the team is at, sometimes we'll do 2 blog posts a week, sometimes we'll do 3, sometimes we'll do 5. So that is where I just write this down. And then also with the blog post, I go through and write out what I'm going to be doing on socials. I like to plan my Instagram and TikTok so that I kind of have something to go off of and I'm not just having like a brain blank. So I write that there, extra to-dos. And then this is where I go and plan out this week's blog post with the title, the keyword, categories, any notes. And then we have a checklist to make sure that I did everything. And then every single day has certain pages. I'm so high maintenance about this. And so I wanted to have 5 a.m. to midnight time blocking. I'm a huge, huge, huge time blocker. I time block my entire life. We have a section where I write out what I'm doing each day on the blog, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Pinterest, and we have blank sections because you never know what is going to come up in the social media world. But like if I had a YouTube video, I'd do like on YouTube, for example, and write it out. My to-do list, and then any notes that I need to do. So those are what the pages look like. And we go back to the weekly overview. All right, so that is the planner. You do not need to buy this. You really can create all of these pages on your own, but just having something like this where it's all in one place keeps you a lot more organized. Those are the pages that I have been using since basically day one, and I am a diehard believer in these pages and keeping you organized and just helping make you as successful as possible. That's how I plan out my content. Like I said, I'm very specific about it, which I think you can tell now. But that really wraps up this video. So I hope you thought that that was really helpful. If you have any comments or questions, put them down below. That is how we come up with our video topics and questions to go off of. So if you have any questions, add them in there and we'll make a separate video about it. Happy blogging, and I'll see you at next week's blogging video.